Mr. Iyengar, you're one of the preeminent yoga teachers, not only in India but around the world. You've done what is pretty much the Bible, a definitive book, instructional book in yoga called Light and Yoga, which has seen about 25 imprints, been translated into 10, 12 languages, and several hundred copies have been, 100,000 copies have been printed. You're regarded as a yoga master, a yoga teacher to thousands of people all over the world. What is a good teacher?
A teacher who descends to the level of the pupil, knowing the physical, the mental weaknesses, and builds them from that standard and evolve them to the level of the teacher is the quality of a teacher.
I think there is a great fear, particularly in Western countries, about the spiritualism or the religions or the cults that we tend to export out of India. And there are people who experience certitude with that, and obviously it's a misplaced certitude. So isn't there that kind of risk that one may fall prey to believing in the wrong kind of system?
No, it's not that way actually. Religion is, first of all, is not denomination. As long as religion means realization, one which upholds physically, morally, mentally and spiritually, sustains and supports for the evolvement of the intellect of each individual, and that is religion for me. Hence, there is absolutely no fear complex involved in the practice of yoga, because everybody wants to have a perfect physical health, perfect mental poise, so that through that physical well-being and mental poise, the vastness of intelligence can be extended, expanded, in order to penetrate the core which is hidden by the very same mind.
You've almost sort of, as it were, begun an introduction to what yoga is.
Yes.
Yoga, apart from sort of the limited understanding we have of it, of being union, and the images we have of sort of yogic postures.
Yes.
Would you elaborate for us what yoga is?
Yoga is the, no doubt, it is said that the individual soul coming in contact with the universal spirit or God is yoga. But here, from the average point of view, we have to bring the right hand in par with the left hand, or vice versa, or the action of the right leg in comparison to the left, so that there is an equipoise in stretches, in actions, in motion, so that there is a unity within one's self, in the muscles, in the joints, in the circulatory system, in the cells, in the organs, so that they do their work harmoniously through the bridge intellect. Because without intelligence, bringing in contact with each and every inner part of the layer of the body, yoga is incomplete. So it's a whole system. There is a holistic system, because the whole, from the conscience, the consciousness, the intelligence, the mind, the organs of perception, organs of action, they are all brought together to work in unison, so that the feeling of the differentiation between body and mind and soul vanishes, but everything appears as Atmavalokana, as if it is the soul doing everything.
What you're really saying is that there is an axis between the body and the mind.
See, asanas, if done like any other sports, then the knowledge will not come. The fibers of our muscles are known as karmendriyas, organs of action. The inner layer of the skin is the organ of perception. We have to do the pose, any asana when we have to do it, we have to do in such a way that one does not interfere with the others, but intercommune to understand the reaction of the fibers on the fibers of the Gyanendriya, the skin, organ of perception, and what sensation it produces from the organs of perception for the organ of action, the fibers, the tendons, how they have to be re-exercised. So a posture has got two things, posing, reflecting to repose, so that there is a tremendous harmony between the physical and the cellular body.
Is it dangerous to embark on this on one's own and purely perform asanas without an understanding of some of the ideas you're telling us?
Each individual has an ambition to improve, to progress. Nobody is willing to regress. So naturally, in yoga, though there are various aspects like yama, niyama, asana, pranayama, pratyahara, dharana, dhyana and samadhi, yama niyamas are hidden within us.
Well, the yamas are really sort of the do's and the don'ts.
Do's and don'ts. So either in the west or in the east, the parents teach them what to do, what not to do. That means what to do is niyama, what not to do is yama. So,
but sorry, if I could just sort of hold you on that, yet there are many of these sort of dimensions that not all of us are able to uphold, the yamas and niyamas.
Yes.
And will it still be safe to go into a practice of yoga? How many of us are aware of that, the yamas and niyamas?
See, that is when you have to come to the again first question as a teacher. Without telling them anything about what to do, what not to do, if the posture is taught very accurately and how they have to observe the position. For example, the muscles are like the wings of a flying bird. Whether each part, each wing of the muscle on the right side, on the left side, back side or the front side, or on the lateral parts, are they, when we are doing, are they evenly attended to, so that both sides of the wings are evenly attended to? Then already the yama and niyama is set in. In each posture, suppose we do half-heartedly, then there is no ethical discipline in that practice. The mind has to go to the vastness. One has to measure the optimum possible movement where he develops the mind opening more than what he used to think. So yama and niyama are set in those postures.
So do I understand you correctly in that you're saying that purely the effort, the concentration and the discipline
Yes.
that goes into performing an asana properly
Yes.
and in total accuracy
Yes.
involves a kind of discipline
Yes.
that will lead to the cultivation of yama and
Yes,
niyama?
that is known as the culture of the mind.
You did mention the aspect of the spiritual experience.
Yes.
Would you say that yoga is secular, and if so, to what degree?
To a very great extent, it is secular. For the simple reason, 2000 years ago, before Christ was born, Patanjali was born, says the 300 to 500 BC. Yata abhimata dhyanadva. The one sutra of his, whatever pleases you, devote your time on that and then try to get the best out of it. So he introduces a secular approach without giving any denomination for one to practice. Everyone needs a keyboard. A musician needs a violin, a painter needs a brush, a sculptor needs hammer and chisel. So also for a spiritual man, he has to depend on something which is subject to body. So through the expressions of these asanas, each and every cell sends messages to the brain, which is the brain is the seat of intelligence and mind is the seat of virtue, or we call it conscience. So conscience and consciousness, the seat of the head is the consciousness, the seat of the mind is the conscience. So when we are doing the poses, whether we have to do from the head or we have to do from the heart, is the heart coming, intelligence of the heart, is it in contact with the periphery, which is the extreme end of the, even the extreme end of the little toe, is my intelligence flowing there? So when we do the postures, in such a way that there is absolutely no obstruction in the flow of intelligence in various contortive poses, then the intelligence is single from the head to the toe. So naturally there are no divisions and there are no denomination. That is spiritual presentation.
You'll have to elaborate that for us a little bit. I think I'm uncomfortable with the idea of intelligence flowing to the tip of one's toes. What do you mean by that?
You know, as you said before, we have what we call chitta. Chitta is a particle of the cosmic intelligence, a part of the cosmos. But due to our want of flow, our intelligence is compartmental. If you see the right hand, you forget the left hand. If you see the left hand, you forget your back. So these asanas brings that awareness which are hidden there to sprout, so that your intelligence immediately teaches something as sprout there. It is hidden. It was dormant. So to connect the growth of our intelligence of the head to be in par with the intelligence of the small toe, which is hidden, dormant, but not awakened. So these postures presenting how each and every part, like the earth moving in rhythm, in cosmos, not in chaos. So also we have to see that in our body we have got about 300 joints, 700 and odd muscles, 6,000 miles of blood circulation, 60,000 miles of blood circulation, 6,000 bioenergy flowing. How to bring all these things when we are presenting the asana, so that there is absolutely no break or no hindrances in the flow of blood, in the flow of energy, in the flow of intelligence.
I think very often many of us are inhibited from a practice of yoga with the emphasis on yama niyama. We sort of feel inadequate. Do we have the ability to follow such rigid moral codes, in a sense? What are the yama niyamas and how do we dynamically interpret it?
Actually, when you read it, it appears very rigid, but actually it is not. For example, what is yama and niyama in one or two examples? Today, the medical science also have come, smoking is very bad. Knowing that it is bad, then addicting to that is that you have broken the ethical discipline of the body. The body says not good for the health and we are doing it. Or take coffee stimulator. We take a cup of coffee. Then you will be tempted by friends, why don't you have one more? You say, no, I don't want it. But at the same time, they insist you. The intelligence at that time is superseded by the past experiences, memory, which makes you to drink and you feel sorry later. So having broken that discipline, knowing very well that before you had the coffee, you knew that it would affect you, but still in order to please the friends, you took it and you paid for it. So if you say, knowing that very well that I shouldn't have taken, then the whole mind would have been happy. So in a simple sentence I say that if the conscience feels the guilt in whatever you do, then if you do not repeat it, that is yama and niyama. If you do not mind in repeating it, then you are breaking the discipline of the ethics, because the conscience, what we call the intelligence of the heart, is pricking every second, I shouldn't have done it, I shouldn't. So afterthought is worst to follow than to observe, saying that let me not do it at all.
Here, but I'm curious, is the conscience more operative as a compulsion, or is it the fact that you took the coffee? What I really mean is it because you're guilty that you took it?
No,
it's
you
wrong?
are not guilty before, but you felt that guiltiness later.
What if you didn't feel the guilt?
Because of the...
What if you didn't feel the guilt?
Then you are in the ethical discipline.
Which means that if I shouldn't smoke, but I do and I don't feel guilty about it...
No, you can't say that. No, you have felt it.
Now what if I don't? If I smoke and I don't feel guilty about it?
If you want to smoke, enjoy smoking, but find out whether you have that stamina to retain that vicious action of that cigarette, whether your body can hold it or not. Now there are two types of addictions, as you said. Natural addiction is million times superior to the artificial addictions, because yoga is going to be a natural addiction later, which you may ask me. So naturally,